Hey, how's it going, guys? All right, so basically this concludes our this particular series. But before closing off, there's a couple of things that I wanted to touch on that we didn't do within the project or within this particular project. So if you check here, this is the original application that I showed or displayed within the demo intro video, which is the first video of this particular series. And so there's a couple of things that I wanted to uh, discuss with you guys. So I'm just going to quickly log in as an admin. Okay. So if you check here, within this particular series, we didn't do some of the stuff. The only thing that we did was create a table within the dashboard and then display all the open and pending requests and so forth. And obviously we had a button where we can view the full details. So as you can see, these tiles over here, along with this table over here where it shows the statistics, we didn't do any of these. And one of the reasons I left this out was simply because, as you saw, some of the videos were quite long, and sometimes doing some of the custom styling and so forth can really be time consuming. And so I decided to leave these tiles out along with this particular table over here. And so and just only focused on displaying the results of the or the open requests and pending requests there on the on the dashboard. But in any case, to do something like this, you should pretty much, if you've been following from the beginning, you should have an idea. Basically, I just created a bunch of divs and set them up within a grid, and then these values that you see here, basically, we're just counting how many clients we have, how many users on the system, how many open requests, or how many total requests, and how many of them have been completed. Within the controller itself, if you check here, um, that's how I'm basically pulling it. You see there, if you check there, these are the three values that I pulled from the request table to display here. So all I wanted to do was just show support requests, query related requests, and general requests. So the idea here was to differentiate between the three requests as to how many have been logged. This was just something that you can use to see where do you need to prioritize in terms of how many requests are open and so forth. But if you follow from the beginning, all you do is just create the value, or you just pull the information and then pass it down to the view. Same goes for what you call it. Yeah, same goes for this. You see, these are the variables I created for the tiles that you see here, the four tiles that you see over here. And so based on whatever information you get there. Well, obviously, it's a collection, so you can pretty much count how many of those results exist, and then just echo them out here within the dashboard. So that's let me see, admin get dashboard. So and then if you check here at the top, all we did was just count how many how many clients we have, and then echo it out here within the tile. So you can do something like this, or if you have better ideas, you can go for it and see how what works for you. So but that's what I did, but I decided to leave these out because I didn't want the videos to be too long, because some of the videos were quite long. Some of them I think were almost close to 40 minutes and so forth. So yeah, I just wanted to keep the video short, but if you followed from the beginning, you should have seen how to pass information from the controller to the view. And that's all I did here. The only thing was just style all of these things to in a way in which can be pleasing to on my side. The other thing that I left out was, let me just see. Uh, we've seen the adding of clients. Obviously, we didn't add user. We used the seed, or we used the seeds to insert an admin account and so forth. And then, yeah, the rest should be standard, displaying the results within a table, passing it down from the controller. So I'm gonna log out now. Oh yeah, the other thing that I think I didn't do was if you check here when we say view clients, so basically the same thing. You just pull the client details and then display them on whatever page. The other thing that I didn't do was if you check where it says where more, I didn't do this part here. But again, the stand it's pretty much the same thing. All you have to do is just pull the information from the database, and then you can then decide how you want to display all of this information. So here what I did was display the client's details, like the name, the email, company details, company address, etc. and and then what else, and then also the view client resources. So again, it's the same thing where you would just create a form and then you can insert all of that information within the database and then pull it from the controller to the view and then display it on your pages. So I left that one out as well because I felt like, based on what we were doing the whole series, I mean, it should have been pretty much straightforward as to how you can do all of that. And the other one, oh yeah, by the way, this is the button that I added to add the resource. So as you can see, it takes that ID of the client, and then when we add this information within the database, it's gonna insert that ID as well. We're pulling it from the parameter from the URL, and then what we do is just associate that resource with the client's ID, and that's it. What else? So again, if you check here, there's a button here where you can download maybe the SLA document that you and the client would, as you can see, it's downloading it over there. So this functionality, I didn't do it, but if you want to, let me just explain. So I created a file controller over here, right? This is the file controller. So here within the web.php file, there's a URL over here. As you can see, it says download contracts, right? And then we're passing in the parameter, the client ID. So what happens within the controller is that when it hits the file controller, it's going to go to the get store file, stored file, and then when you go to the controller itself, this is the method. So we take that client's ID. We're gonna there's a what you call it. There is a field. I mean, sorry, there's a table within the database where we store the document location and the document name. And so what I'm doing here is just pulling. Oh, by the way, I'm associating the document and the file part, the document itself with the client ID, and then we're using that to pull the document location and document name, and then here we're just concatenating it, and then what we do here is we return the storage facade to download that file. So it's located obviously um, within the storage folder, which is here, app, and then the name of the file, and then depending on where it's stored, obviously it's going to pull it from there. So this function here, or this download method here, by default, when you pass in the path and the file name, it's going to download it and then give it that name. So you pull it in using that facade. It's a facade, by the way. So the same way we were pulling in the mail facade, the auth facade, along with the hash facade, you do the exact same thing here, and then you have access to methods such as the download, where you can download the file. I might do a tutorial later on, maybe, where we focus solely on maybe how you can store and download files within Laravel. But again, I left this one out because of what we needed within this particular project. I think we touched on almost all that we needed to know about Laravel and so forth. And it's the exact same thing here for the client. So this is for on the client side, when the client themselves wants to download the file, and see the contents of that file and so forth. All right, so yeah, that's basically it in terms of the admin side. So I want to log in to the client side. So I'm going to use JD. I'm going to say password. So on the client side, as you can see there, it's pretty much the exact same thing. So the view is the same as what we had on the admin side. The only difference is that I didn't put that statistic. I could have done the exact same thing here, but again, didn't need to do that. Again, it was just a demo project. So yeah, so you see that download SLA document is what I was explaining just now. It'll come to the to this URL over here. This one doesn't need a parameter because how we are downloading that file is we're using the authenticated user as ID to get where that document location and document name is. And then again, same thing, we just pass it down to the storage facade and downloading the file. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. So um view resources, again, I left this one out as well, but again, same thing, you should know if you've been following from the beginning how to store all of this, how to display all this information within the within the views. The other thing I wanted to touch on within the previous video, if you saw the way we display the requests that the clients have logged. So the idea here is that if you go to the if we go to the client, what we need to do is what we do here is we pull the request that the client have logged, and then we use the auth user ID to get that information. And so if you check here, when we logged in as Jane Doe, but Jane Doe only has one request log, but what's displaying here is other users logs. Okay, so this was my mistake. Um, how what I did here was, if you check here, where we are pulling those open requests, so we are basically checking for open or pending requests. But the problem is that this particular where method is also displaying information that's pending, but it's not actually checking as to who that request is logging in. So what I was supposed to do was actually do this, the exact same thing that I did within the first where clause. I was supposed to do it here. So if we just do it quickly, and then we paste that there, and then all we do is just change that to pending, right? So if you check here, if we refresh, as you can see now, only that the request that Jane logged is displaying within the dashboard. So I did the exact within the series that we did within this particular project that we did. I also made that change because that was my mistake. So the other thing I wanted to touch on was be careful of how you use these particular where clauses or these methods that come with Laravel. These little nuances where you in pulling information using these arrays or and whatnot, they can really affect as to how information is being pulled or how it's being displayed, how information is being pulled from the database. So just be careful of that. All right, so yeah, I just wanted to touch on those things because what else? Yeah, there's certain things that we left out during this particular series, and so I just wanted to make sure that before closing off, I explained some of the reasons why as to why I left out some of the stuff. So that I don't do any false advertisement and so forth. But yeah, if you followed from the beginning, at the very least, you should have seen how to pull data, how to insert data within the database, how to pull information from the database and pass it to the view using controllers, and how to send emails, how to create databases using what you call it, uh, um, what you call it, migrations, and also how to protect against unauthorized access using middleware. So hopefully, I did this project just so that I can engage those of you who are learning Laravel. I myself am still learning, and I do these particular projects so that at the very least I can become wiser and learn the framework itself. And these projects help with uh, like I said, making you a little bit wiser. For example, if you check my admin controller, it's quite convoluted. I did too many things within one controller. And again, these projects help you to what you call it, become more skillful. I know that at least in the next project I do, I would at the very least spread out some of the stuff within different controllers rather than doing everything within one controller. If you see, this controller is quite long as hell. So yeah, man. I hope I was able to teach or I was able to show you guys how what you can do with Laravel, and what the what its potential is, and so forth. And hopefully, maybe you've learned something watching this particular tutorial. In any case, guys, that's it for the video and the series itself. um, I'm open to any constructive criticism. If you have any advice on as to what I can do, or what you call it, how I can best go about creating projects and so forth. And yeah, I'm open to any ideas, and any advice is welcome to my on my side. So in any case, I hope you enjoyed the series. And again, guys, if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll be seeing you guys within the next project. Cheers for now.